proper dirty, babe.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
586,000 followers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Soul Cycle!
This is me. At 18 years old, I set off from my hometown of Leicester in the UK to cycle all the way to Australia, where some of my family had moved when I was younger and I'd never gone and visited them. You joined me 8 months in, having already passed through over 25 countries in Europe and Asia, and I'm now in southern Thailand, with the rainforests of Malaysia and Indonesia sitting between me and my goal. Come on.
Bangkok is just crazy now. It's good though, because while you're waiting at the traffic lights, they have TVs everywhere, so you never get bored. Oh, there's another one with the latest movie trailers on. I am at the Thai Royal Palace, which is very grand and really cool. The bigger point though is, I just got hit by a car. Yeah, a bit annoying. His number plate came off and bent, and my kickstand bent. I gave him his number plate back, picked my bike up off the floor. Oh, my handlebars were bent, and then I just sat at a street food place and ate. Look, going, what the hell? This is crazy. Underneath bridges, next to these flash cars and advertising billboards, these are homes in what must be regularly flooded marginal land. People live here next to the litter and the pollution from these highways. So the time we've all been waiting for is finally here. Oh no! It's Songkran, which is the water festival where everyone buys water guns. And you're just allowed to shoot everyone, and they can't do anything about it. For you, hey! We have ourselves a Songkran train water park on the train. Hey, how you doing, man?
I then bumped into Tom from South Africa, another guy who was travelling by bike, and so we headed south out of Bangkok together in the sweltering 40-degree heat of Thailand's hot season.
High five, my man. We made it to the ocean. Look at this flipping amazing promenade out next to the mangroves. But look down there, mud skippers. Look, they have little arms. They just push themselves along. Oh, it's mad. Okay, our bikes are getting robbed by the monkeys. Oi! We have got to check this out. So before it goes dark, I thought I would show you what is potentially the best camping spot of the entire trip. And we're going to go in one of these pavilions down there and cook the Thai masterpiece. Got my veggies on. Got my Thai green curry powder. And this guy dropped a bottle of water off the side. Don't sink. Don't sink. Now that's what I call a camping spot. It's very windy and very, very hot. It's just like the fumes from an oven are blowing onto us. My forearms are roasted to pieces, but this guy's got it sorted.
I'm basically built on.
The 40-degree heat did have its benefits though for the local industry of sea salt production, and we stopped by one of the salt pans to say hello and find out just how much hard work it takes to produce sea salt.
Wait! Oh, careful! Cooking cow. This is it, everyone. The first mango tree I've ever seen. That's so cool. Just mangoes growing. You get loads as well on the tree.
After our brief link up, me and Tom then had to go different ways as we continued on our journeys.
It's the last day that we're together, and so I have to ask a very important question. It could alter the fate of mankind. Brushing your teeth before breakfast or after breakfast?
After.
Thank you for that. We'll see you next time. And with that, Tom cycles off into the horizon. And I'm going this way. I'm actually so glad that I turned right. It's just cutting directly through the jungle. Just the size of it. Some of the trees are just monsters. They're so high. It's now 1:17 and I made it. And there's the boat that I wanted to be on that goes once a day. Why did I chill this morning instead of doing a 5 AM early start? What a noob. I tell you what, after missing that, my life is ruined. Look at this horrible view. Oh wait. I was just looking for a restaurant to eat and then I literally got flagged down. And there's these huge bowls of food and I've been given some and it's Arroy, it's very good. Everyone seems very happy to have me. Saudi Cup. I'm okay, I'm full.
บ่เป็นหยัง
Oh,
กินรวด
okay. นี่ As an island without many mountains to generate regular rainfall, Koh Phi Phi, like most islands, suffers with water shortages. We're in the end of the dry season and this reservoir here is scummy. It's not got much water in at all.
I then returned to the Thai mainland and had to get some serious miles in to stay on track.
Boom. It's 5:30 AM. My legs are still aching from yesterday's big ride. I carried on cycling until 9:30 PM. But today's the day. 200 kilometers, new personal record. It's happening. Confirmed cycling time, 5:54 on the road. And the monks are out collecting their alms. When all the Buddhist monks go out to all the shop owners and residents with a big bowl to get a little bit of rice and food from each of them. And then they give them a certificate saying, I have given alms. But check this out. There is a limited edition cooling sensation icy lemon flavour crisps. A potato crisp cannot cool down your mouth. You know what? I take it all back. Something weird is happening in my mouth. Okay, bad news. There's a headwind which pretty much kills my chances of doing it. I've been cycling non-stop for about 6 hours. Morale is pretty low because the wind is... Oh. The dream may or may not be over, and thought I'll make myself eat because I need fuel. Let's just say my body said no in a bit of a violent way. Then sleep just like came over me. Fell asleep in the restaurant and I've just slept in those bushes for like an hour. I just had to sleep here for another almost an hour. My body's just so zonked.
Just when I needed it though, in the south of Thailand I managed to meet up with some old friends. My friend Anna made the crazy decision to buy a bike and to cycle with me all the way through Malaysia to Singapore.
That is the queue for the border. Country number 27. Goodbye Thailand. And selamat datang ke Malaysia. So we've just crossed the border into Malaysia and we've gone to a restaurant, and so instantly we're hit with how much Indian influence there is here. The staff are from Chennai in the south of India, there's roti going on, but also we're hit with a big change in terms of going into an Islamic country. And so in the restaurants it's like all guys. How do you feel about that?
I'm quite okay with it. I'm kind of expecting it, but it's still a bit disconcerting to see no other women. But you notice a lot like people like looking at you.
A lot more than Thailand.
In Thailand it's very Western.
A last important thing to note is the chopsticks have disappeared, just as they appeared when I crossed from India into Myanmar. It didn't take us long though to bump into what's behind me, the first palm oil plantation, which we're going to see all throughout Malaysia because it's one of the biggest producers of palm oil on the planet, which sadly is what has replaced the biodiverse virgin rainforest which once filled Malaysia. Which is one of the reasons I'm supporting Cool Earth as one of the 3 charities. It's working trying to put local rainforest in local people's hands. Check it out in the description.
So we headed down Malaysia's west coast towards its own huge capital, Kuala Lumpur.
Now there's a lot of tall buildings in KL, but that one, there should be 2. What happened to the other one? So here, you know, a long way from home, they only have the global giants like Chicago Bulls, Man United, and there, Leicester City.
In Kuala Lumpur, as in other cities in Southeast Asia, I saw a lot of wildlife for sale, for use as food, pets, or as medicine.
They literally eat birds' nests and even have drinks with it in.
Then it was on along Malaysia's east coast, passing snakes, monitor lizards, and even wild tapirs we didn't catch on camera.
So it's 6, it's about 1 hour until sundown, and the Ramadan markets are opening up, everyone buying food for their nightly feasts. Look, it just stretches all the way down there, and no one's eating. This is it!
Nearly in Singapore!
Nearly in Singapore! We're just over there, that is Singapore, we're about to cross the bridge into Woodlands. They all have very English names, like we're going to West Coast Road later as well.
These English names are because both Singapore and Malaysia were British colonies, with Singapore actually being a part of Malaysia following independence in 1957. Both countries have 3 main ethnic groups: Malays, ethnic Chinese, and Indians. But whereas Malaysia is predominantly Malay, Singapore has a Chinese majority, and this contributed to political tensions that led Singapore to become a separate state in the 60s.
So I've been cycling across Asia for 7 months after entering it for the first time in my life when I crossed over the Bosphorus River in Istanbul. Singapore is at the very southern tip of continental Asia, and here it's time to say goodbye to it. This is it, most southerly point, and I think it means it's time for a ceremonial dip in the sea. Here we go. So Singapore's big attraction is the gardens by the bay, which I've wanted to visit forever. They're known for these, the super trees, which are these huge structures, which are wicked. Here we are, on the famous Skyway walkway.
So these structures were made to be the same height as the rainforest canopy which would have covered Singapore, and it's actually insanely high.
So this is our first taste of the famous hawker centre. So thank you to Gabriel and Jade for introducing us. I've gone for the mee pot, which is fried noodles with bits of pork.
So laksa.
Laksa. Look at the colours in
prawn,
that.
cockles,
Cockles and coconut milk.
spicy
Yeah.
curry sauce, but with lots of coconut milk.
Yeah.
So from Singapore, Anna headed home with her bike in a box, and I looked for a boat to take me to the Indonesian island of Sumatra.
Boom! And just like that, I'm in Indonesia. And I'm meeting lots of friendly people.
My name is Junedi. You can call me John. I'm from Indonesia, especially in Batam Island. Hi. Thank
He
you.
teaches English and lives here in Batam. And he's teaching me all about the different languages.
Language in Indonesia.
Yeah, but there's many languages
Yeah,
here.
like Japanese, Malay, Bataknese, Japanese, and then many else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many. Here in the main language is Malay. See you soon. Bye bye. It's 6 a.m. I am in Indonesia after I arrived here on this little island of Batam yesterday. We're about to hot-foot it to the ferry terminal and catch a long ferry to the mainland, Sumatra. So I already said everyone here is ridiculously friendly, and I'm waving, getting thumbs up from everyone, but a guy at great difficulty to himself just handed me out the window of his car a handful of notes. I've got 200,000 Indonesian rupiah here, which is 20 quid. That's all going towards the 3 charities.
The next month and a half passed in a haze of smiles, shaking hands and sing-alongs, and I took even more selfies with people than I took in India, as I got invited to stay at people's houses almost every night.
Karimun Club, Pekanbaru! Woo!
The food was also mind-blowing, and fasting for Ramadan much more relaxed than in Malaysia, with the West Sumatran specialty of rendang still being my favourite food to this day.
I'd heard it's less chilly hot than Malaysian food, but I'm dying.
To match all this though, the Sumatran landscape quite literally took my breath away as I hit my first lot of mountains and approached the equator.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Let's get that bread. So let's just take a sneaky look at my maps. Do you see that, folks? There's me. There's the equator. Me and Solange are doing it together. Here we go. Whoa! I made it from Leicester to the southern hemisphere. Woo! Yeah, he knows. It's different to what I thought, but the equator and the rainforests are magical. Over this whole trip, being a very rainforest obsessed guy, and my first encounters with jungles were in India, but they just didn't quite fit my expectation. I'm now 50 kilometres from the equator, and I have to say, looking behind me, I think I made it to the proper rainforest. There's a wild boar up there, because it just let out the biggest roar at me. Should arm myself, really. Do you hear that? And I made it back to camp. Made it past the wild boar. The monkeys playing in these trees are so crazy. And they're making jumps off a tree of like 10 metres before they hit the next branch and they just grab onto it. Mental. Check out this bad boy. He's huge. I don't think I've ever seen a bridge like this. It's like a corkscrew wiggly thing down the valley. Wow, wow, wow. An incredible mountain and an incredible mountain of rubbish just in front of it. Just like in India, many times in Indonesia, when I've had rubbish and I've asked where I can put it, they've said, just throw it. And look, the river is trickling through this. Oh, this is horrific. And local people will be drinking water like this.
So eventually I made it over the mountains and to the big city of Padang, where I celebrated Eid with the Padang Mountain Bike Club and the amazing Pak Hen and his family. And then I headed back up into the mountains towards the famous Gunung Kerinci.
So I'm just on the road and I've been stopped by Mr. Tony.
From news account.
News
I see you.
account.
Yeah. 3 hours ago, maybe.
I'm in the local news, hey!
Famous in here.
I'm famous in here. I thought it might have been because when I was cycling, like 5 people shouted, "Hey Leo!"
Oh.
And I was like, am I imagining it? I'm going crazy. 586,000 followers. Does this say about the charities? Yeah, that's so cool. And I hope we can save the rainforest for our grandchildren and things to enjoy. So thank you.
I passed through fields of tea and of rice, and after seeing it getting planted while I was back in Vietnam, the rice was now ready to pick.
Yeah, each little thing they would have planted was a little sprout. It's now about that wide. It's got like golden, like wheat hanging down, and that must have the rice inside. Over there they're harvesting it, and yeah, you can see they're like putting it through a machine to separate, I guess, the stalks from the actual rice. So that, my friends, is the famous Mount Kerinci, Gunung Kerinci, and it is not just a mountain, it is Indonesia's largest volcano, 3,800 meters, and tomorrow I'm going up. So I've just had another Indonesian feast, and I'm chatting with these 2 guys who are both 19 tahun, who are 19 as well. So we talk with Google Translate about climbing the mountain, which is looming over there, and they're telling me it's dangerous. And yeah, I'm scared doing it solo, because not many people do that.
3 days later, eventually.
Hello folks, I am climbing up Gunung Kerinci. Down there you can just see the lights, and these are the lights of climbers climbing up with their torches.
Oi,
Hey,
Leicester.
So this is it. At the summit, my first ever proper mountain. 3,800 meters. Got the volcanic gases hurting my lungs. And yeah, when the clouds part, then you can just have the most amazing views. It's day 2 after climbing Mount Kerinci, and I still can barely stand up. My legs are killing me, so I'm gonna hitchhike because yeah, I can't even walk. I have got a lift, thank goodness. The guy who sells fish and durian, the world's stinkiest fruit that's banned from most subway systems, which I find so funny. He's just specialised in stinky items. It's hour 7 in the back of this truck, hanging on for dear life. So before the Dutch came to Indonesia, the British were here first. Boo! But the leader of that was a guy called Thomas Parr. And behind me is the Thomas Parr Monument. The British described him as a benevolent father to the Malay residents. And I don't think he can be that benevolent a father, because after he introduced forced coffee labour to this area, some people broke into his house, stabbed him, stabbed his aide, and decapitated him. So, yeah.
The rest of Indonesia passed by in a blur of extremely confident children, enormous ancient temples, world-famous surf breaks, and the most insane camping spots ever.
Hey folks, so last night's sleep I was pretty much tossing and turning with cold all night. Check that out. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, not too shabby, eh?
I also got to visit the Kerinci volcano, in which locals mined sulphur by hand inside the crater in really tough conditions for use in dynamite, as I headed towards Bali, my final destination before Australia.
But what is better at 3 AM than a sing-off at the local bus station? Let's do it.
Join me next time for the Soul Cycle's grand finale as I take on tropical and outback Australia to arrive at my final destination with my dad's side of the family on Australia's east coast. And if you want to check out the portraits and stories of people I met along the way, you can buy the trip's hardback photo book at the link in the description, with half of the profits going to the 3 charities.